we're just heading in to the Cahokia on-site museum. I've heard it's quite good. I've also heard there might be artifacts relating to the giants, as well as the Birdman tablet that was found here, which has a snake and bird, i.e. plumed serpent representation. There's bound to be some other things here that are going to surprise us, so let's go and take a look. So we're just here at Cahokia. We're in the visitor centre, the museum. It's got the amazing Birdman tablet. It's got some very large axes I want to see, and some other amazing pieces. So let's go and take a look. Behind me, you can just see a reconstruction of the site. I'll show you it in full detail in a moment. But it's just amazing to be here. We've had a look at the site. We've flown over it. We've got a bird's eye view, just like the Birdman tablet. And let's take a look now at what they created here at Cahokia. It's a good comparison to see the sizes of Cahokia Mound compared to other pyramids. There we have the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan, Mexico. We have the very small Chichen Itza pyramid. And then we have Monk's Mound, absolutely massive, with the Egyptian Great Pyramid next to it. And then we have Mount Etowah in Georgia. So it just gives you a sense of perspective when it comes to the sheer magnitude of the Cahokia site. So just in front of me is the famous Birdman tablet that was found here at Cahokia. Dates to around AD 1300. It's made of sandstone, and it's got a gentleman with a bird-like mask and winged costume in the dance pose. This is what we find a lot in the Mississippi kind of symbolism, but it's become, you know, the Cahokia logo really. But the fact that it's a plumed gentleman with a bird's head, and the back of it has scales of a serpent, it's a clear representation of a plumed serpent, much like we find at Serpent Mound, much like we find all over Central and Mesoamerica. And it's just amazing to see it here so clearly. So this is the reverse side of the Birdman tablet, which is clear cross-hatching. And they think it may represent snake skin. And they know that the Cahokian sky world featured the bird, and the earth was the man, and the underworld was the snake. And they're all represented on this tablet, but I believe it's an ancient tradition of the serpent people that goes back many thousands of years before this, before the Olmecs, going all the way back to southeast Turkey and Göbekli Tepe, and even the Denisovans, where 20,000-year-old tablets have been found with serpent carvings on. So the fact that we have the plumed serpent here, as well as in other parts of this country, in Mississippian, Hopewell and Adena cultures, does suggest this tradition ended up here. This is one of the reasons I wanted to come here, because when J.J. Ainsworth was here last time, she told me about these giant axes, and we can see one here. Now that must be at least 1.5 feet long, and this is unfinished. It's made of basalt, but that's got to weigh over 30 pounds, maybe 40 pounds. And there's some other quite large ones at the back over here as well, but this one is really interesting because we know that there's 2 accounts of giant bones being found here at Cahokia. So perhaps this was the axe head made for the giant chief, and the bones were found on Monk's Mound, the main mound where the chief lived. So I guarantee there's a connection between this and the giant bones that were discovered. So this is the largest celt known. It's in the Grossman cache, and it's 18 inches long and 6 inches wide, and weighs about 28 pounds, they say. So it's close. I said 30 pounds. It's unfinished, but it was potentially a ritualistic piece, but maybe not. We have other ones here going back, varieties. There is 10 different examples of 12 stone varieties that were mined from the St. Francois mountain. There's gabbroid type 1, gabbroid type 2, fine gabbroid, basalt, dark blue basalt. dark grey basalt diabase, green snowflake diabase, blue diabase and black diabase. And so there's different types of stone, although they all look fairly similar. This is another case. I don't know if this is the one, but these are pretty big. There's no weights mention of each of these, but these do look sort of average, sort of medium size that most people could probably handle. But this one is a whole other thing. This really is the axe of a giant. So here we have the other case I was looking for with the giant axe heads. And look at these ones on the end. These are absolutely massive. I put my hand just there. I'll just round the back to get a sense of size. You can see these are absolutely huge. These are the ones that JJ told me to come and have a look at. And you can see the graph at the back here. You can see the size of these is absolutely massive. So number 3 here, this must be like 25 pounds. We have other ones along here. You can look at the photo. But these ones on the end, absolutely crazy. These are the largest celts of the cache. Some thought to be ritualistic. They're so large, they claim in the writing, they couldn't have been used by humans apart from if there's 2 of them probably holding it. So these are just quite something. So there's some in the list that weigh over 30 pounds that were found in East St. Louis, many of them in 1869 by Moorhead. And these must be the ones they're talking about here. These are absolutely gigantic. So there are a couple of accounts of giants here at Cahokia. I'm currently sitting at the top end of Monk's Mound in the area of the building here, and the great post that was once in existence here, made of wood. It was, at least the building itself was 40 feet high. But there's an account which is very interesting. It's called Cahokia, the great Native American metropolis, and it's by Beloin Whiting Young and Melvin Lee Fowler from a book from 2000 with that title. And they describe how in 1891 the Reverend Stephen Peat wrote about his visit to Cahokia. And this is from the book, so I'm just reading this out from the book here. There are also vast quantities of bones hidden beneath the surface, and one can only scarcely strike a spade through the soil without unearthing some token of the prehistoric races. Mr. Ramey, the owner of the mound, speaks about digging in one part of the field and finding heaps of bones 8 feet deep, and says that the bones are everywhere present. The workmen who were engaged in digging ditches for under-draining had a few days before they came upon large quantities of pottery and skeletons of large size, but had carelessly broken them instead of preserving them. So we have an account here of giant bones being found but carelessly destroyed. There's one other account here which kind of caught my attention, which we feature in the book, and it comes from the St. Louis Dispatch from 1906. A Mr. Hill, who once lived upon it while making excavation near the northwest extremity, uncovered human bones and white pottery in considerable quantities. The bones, which instantly crumbled to dust on exposure to the air, appeared larger than the ordinary, while the teeth were double in front as well as behind, suggesting giants with double rows of teeth were found here at Cahokia.